Maybe you've been training for a while, maybe you just started training, but you're someone that wants to improve themselves physically. You go to the gym to get better, to get fitter, to get stronger. You put in the time, you put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, you optimize your training, your nutrition, you watch YouTube videos online on how to actually improve these things. You smash it in the gym, you work hard, you train, you show discipline, you diet, but then you put your religion first and Ramadan is upon us. You're going to be fasting for the majority of the time that you are awake. So how can you continue to progress? Can you continue to progress, or are you destined to regress? How can you keep improving physically whilst adhering to Ramadan and becoming closer to God? How can you do those things? Can you do them? What would I do, and what would I do differently? I want to start by saying a disclaimer as well. I'm not actually a Muslim. I know my name is Mo. I'm also wearing a jubba. This is the first time I've ever worn one of these, and it's the most comfiest thing I've ever worn in my entire life. You guys are years ahead. But I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of clients that are Muslim. I travel to a lot of Muslim countries, and I do really, really respect the religion. So I wanted to make this video for those people, because you can continue to improve physically if you do these things during Ramadan. What would I do in terms of body composition? Ramadan is not going to be an ideal time to bulk up or gain muscle, because you're obviously going to be fasting for long periods of time. You're probably going to be tired. You're probably going to be hungry. You're probably going to be sleep deprived. So it's not the best time for gaining muscle. But it doesn't mean that you have to regress, that you have to lose out on those hard-earned gains that you've spent the last months, the last years building. So what I would do if I was someone that's bulking, if I was someone that wanted to gain muscle, is I'd take a little break during this time. I'd use this time as a bit of a tidy up phase to lose a bit of body fat, get a little bit leaner. And what that's going to do is it means that when Ramadan has finished, when it is over, when I can resume regular eating, regular training, etc., and I haven't got those limitations in place, it means that I'm going to be at a better starting point to continue bulking. One thing that can catch you off guard is weight gain. If you're withholding from food, it's going to make you a lot more likely to binge, to really, really eat a lot of calories. You just want to make sure that you don't overdo it at iftar time, because it is going to be easy to do if you're someone like me that really, really enjoys food and can eat a lot. You can very easily get very fat and put on a lot of weight, even though you're fasting through a lot of a day. It's going to be two types of people that lose a load of weight, people that can gain weight really easily. So you know what you are, and kind of take the things that I'm going to say according to that. First things first, training. Do not take it easy with the training. This is going to be some controversial advice that kind of goes against everything that everyone tells you online regarding Ramadan and training. Do not take it easy. I believe that is the worst thing you could possibly do. Think about it this way. If you're dieting, if you're a professional bodybuilder, if you're cutting, if you're preparing for a show, do you slack off on the training? Do you take it easy? Do you stop doing heavy weights? Do you just go into the gym and give 70% effort not to work too hard? No, you don't. You get out what you put in at the end of the day. If you reduce the amount of effort that you're putting into anything, the results are going to be reduced as well. So when it comes to Ramadan and training, the most important thing you can do is train with purpose and train with intention. I would say the best approach to training would be to take on a high intensity, low volume style of training. What that means is, rather than going to the gym and doing, let's say, 4 or 5 sets on bench press, 8 to 12 reps, I might only do 2 sets on bench press, but those sets are going to be till absolute failure. I'm going to my failure point. I'm pushing myself to my max. The quality of the sets that I'm doing is going to be up here. And what that means is, number one, I'm going to be saving a lot of time in the gym. So you don't want to be drawing out the sessions if you're fatigued, if you're not having a lot of food in you before you train. You want those sessions to be quick, effective, and efficient. So of course you're going to regress if you go into the gym and you don't work hard and you take it easy because someone online told you to take it easy, when before this you used to train like an absolute animal and smash your sessions. If you can do it, do it. The only exception to this would be if you're training during the day, because you have to train during the day. I wouldn't recommend it. Then you might want to take it easy. But if you're training after iftar, then really, really do go to the effort to make sure your sessions are quality, make sure every single rep counts, and strive to progressively overload. Enjoy the time of no music, enjoy the time of just being at one with your body and really, really working to improve yourself physically. It's something beautiful, man. I'm getting amped up talking about it. But training wise, high intensity, low volume, it's absolutely great. There's a program I'll put for free down below if you want to get involved in that and check it out. That's kind of very similar to how I train, and the only sets on there that count are sets till failure. Obviously do it safely, ensure that the form is absolutely perfect, but in terms of training, I believe that is the best thing as a natural athlete as well, especially as a natural athlete who's going to be maybe in a bit of a calorie deficit because you are fasting, that you can possibly do. One thing I wouldn't do loads of is cardio. I probably limit cardio. Say if you did cardio 7 days a week for an hour, which is loads anyway, I probably slash that in half. I wouldn't do more than 30 minutes a day. If I was doing cardio sessions, I'd prioritize weight training first. And then if I did want to do a bit of cardio at the end, it'd either be a low intensity steady state, so walking on a treadmill, something that's going to be easy, or I'd do like a quick little HIIT circuit, but that's going to be down to how you're feeling and how you handle the fasting and having reduced food. In terms of training splits, what I would do is I would not train for 5 or 6 days a week. Maybe if I was training for 4 days, I'd do an upper lower split, high intensity, low volume, high frequency. So frequency meaning I'm training everything twice a week, or you could do like a 2 or 3 day full body split. Have you ever had it where you've been to the gym and you just felt like absolutely destroyed, and your diet's been great, your sleep's been great, everything has been good, but you just feel like really, really bad, like the bar's moving slow, like you're feeling weak? That's probably an indicator that you need a deload week. So if you're someone that's trained for any period of time, anyone that's trained hard, you probably need a deload every, 3 to 4 months, depending upon the individual, depending upon your training, depending upon numerous things. But if you haven't had one, Ramadan would be a great time to have that deload week within it. So what I would do is take a week where I'm taking off, let's say 30 to 40% of the weight on all my lifts. I'm only doing 60%, 70% of what I normally be doing. This is a really simple way to do it. Knock off a few sets, knock off the amount of weight that you're doing, and go nowhere near failure. So you're basically just going to the gym. Sessions are going to be really, really nice and easy. Almost like pump-like sessions. You're just getting some blood into the muscle, getting things moving, and you're not exerting yourself at all. And the idea behind this is you're allowing your body to recover from that accumulated fatigue from training, to kind of like reset things and get you to a good point when you can return to training at full high intensity. So I consider doing that for a week as well, and then going back into the high intensity, balls to the wall style of high intensity, low volume training. Mr. Editor, please put some electrolytes on the screen here. This is going to be your best friend, basically. One of the most important things that you can be doing, and one of the best investments you can make, like kind of forget BCAAs, like they're a scam, like forget all this other stuff, is get some electrolytes. When you break your fast at iftar time, dates are a really, really good thing to have. They're going to be high in sugar, are very easy to digest. You don't want to eat a big meal, so you don't want something that's going to send you into a carb coma. Have like a medium-sized meal. Dates are really, really good, like I said, and then maybe have a lean protein source or a few scoops of protein shake, something that's going to be easily digestible, and you're going to be able to train with that in your stomach that's not going to send you into this carb coma. What you also want to do is have about a liter of water, really, really hydrate, and with that water, have some creatine, have some, most importantly, electrolytes. Throughout the day, you're going to have depleted your salt levels, your sodium, your potassium, and it is so important that you have correct levels for hydration, for your kidneys, for your hydration, for your muscles, for shuttling water to the right places, for actually causing muscular contractions. It is so important that we have correct electrolyte levels. Actually get some electrolytes, have it with your water, have that when you train, sip on that, and that'll make your performance and make everything a million times better. That is one of the biggest things that you should take home from this video, is electrolytes and hydration. Another thing that's worth noting is I would steer clear from pre-workouts. I'd probably avoid coffee as well. I wouldn't have caffeine past 2 p.m. just because our sleep is going to be disrupted anyway from eating before sunrise. And if we're having caffeine later at night, it is going to disrupt our quality of sleep. So you might have absolutely no problem sleeping. Like after a cup of coffee, I could probably drink 5 cups of coffee and sleep. But the quality of my sleep, which you're not going to know about until you wake up super tired the next morning, is going to be affected by caffeine. You've eaten your pre-workout meal, you've trained, you've had an absolutely amazing session, and now it's time for your post-workout meal, which is probably going to be with your family, or it might be a social event. So here, it's really important not to overindulge, man. And obviously you want to get involved, and you don't want to miss out on things, and you want to spend time with your family, etc., etc. I do understand. So by all means, do have a cheat, do have a day off, do have something that's sustainable, do have a meal where you're kind of enjoying yourself, but moderation is the main thing here. What I would recommend people doing, if you're serious about progression and not regressing, is track your food. And I know that you can't do that if your nan's cooking up something or your mum's cooking up something. It's very difficult to track because there's going to be various things in it, but you can get a pretty good indicator of what's in the food by guesstimating it and then tracking it on something like MyFitnessPal, just by kind of guesstimating, okay, it's like, let's say 150 grams of rice, about that is probably this much meat, this much this, and then adding 20% to those calories and just sticking to a calorie number for the day. What you can do as well is before, let's say if you're going for a family meal, having a meal with a family. Before you have that meal, you can have a pre-prepared healthy meal that you've made for yourself, like classic bro, chicken rice, something that's going to be good, something that's going to be healthy and to kind of clench that hunger. And then when you are going for the more social meal, you know that you're not as inclined to eat everything because you're not starving hungry. You're going to eat more healthier, high quality food and less of the stuff that's not going to align you with your fitness goals. I'm probably going to butcher this, so please forgive me. But for sahur, I know a lot of friends miss this meal because they'd rather sleep. I would suggest getting this in. So having something as well in the morning before the sun has risen that is high in protein, that is going to fill you up for the day. Have some electrolytes here as well. Have some water. Make sure you're very hydrated. You're loading up on water. You're loading up on food, and try and reduce the amounts of fats that you're eating. So things like cheeses aren't going to be great. Dried meats aren't going to be great either. Things like eggs, egg whites, stuff that's relatively lean is going to be really, really good and a good option to have in the day. And then loading up on slow release carbohydrates as well, things that are going to have a low GI, low on the glycemic index, is going to be a really good option just to keep you sustained throughout that day. Get your electrolytes in, get your water in as well. Anyway, people, Ramadan Kareem. Just remember, you get out what you put in at the end of the day. You don't have to regress. You can still progress if you do those things that I mentioned in the video, and just really, really train with intention, train with purpose, take your training seriously, and just optimize the time that you do have when you are training to the best of your ability. If you want training programs that are tailored to you, then there is a link down below for my platform, Physique Incubator, completely custom meal and training plans. And then obviously, maybe skip out on the meal plan until Ramadan is over, but training plans nonetheless. Anyway, people, drop me comment down below and let me know how I got on with my awful pronunciations, and let me know if you got any other tips for anyone else to read in the comments regarding Ramadan, staying on track, growing physically, mentally, spiritually, and becoming closer to God during this time. I love you to bits. Thank you.